Hello. Welcome to today's training session for the North Carolina Health Information Exchange portal. Today we will demonstrate the basic functionality of the portal, patient search, work lists, notifications, and direct email exchange. First thing we will do is log on to the portal by typing in your user ID and your password. Once you log into the portal, the patient search screen will display. This is where we conduct our patient searches. You notice we also have work lists, notifications, common, and messaging. We will go into greater detail about each of these in a few moments. Let's begin by conducting a patient search. In the last name field, simply type in the last name of the person that you're looking for and the first name. If you do not have the complete spelling of the first name, you can always type in the %. This is our wild card, and this tells the system to search for anyone with the last name Clinton, followed by the first name that begins with H-I-L. In order to conduct the search, simply hit enter, or you can click the search button. All results will display at the bottom of the screen. You can verify that this is the correct patient by hovering over the patient name and verifying the patient telephone number, address, emergency contact address, date of birth, and sex of the patient. To select this patient, simply click on the patient, and the patient's record will now be displayed. Here we can see in the patient summary, the patient demographics are displayed with the medical record number, emergency contact, the demographics for the patient, and any PCP will be displayed in the primary care provider box. We also see allergies are displayed. The allergies will contain details about the specific allergen, reactions to the allergen, onset date, and the severity. Encounter history will display all encounters that this patient has had at this facility, including the admission date, discharge date, an admit reason, discharge diagnosis, visit types such as ER, outpatient, or inpatient. Specialties, facilities, and clinicians will also be displayed. The medication history will display all current medications. The medication will include the medication name, the dose, any instructions, the route for the medication, start date, and if the medication has been discontinued, a stop date will also appear. Prescribed by, status, which will be ordered, and the source. A problem list will display current problems, the provider treating that problem, the status, and the onset date of that problem. Procedures such as annual eye exams will show up under procedures and will include the procedure name, procedure CPT code, the provider, and the date. We also have a link to the MC Immunization Registry. This will be available first quarter of 2014, and it will query the NCIR for any current vaccinations. It also will display any recommended vaccinations. Next, we have the clinical content, which is the patient snapshot. This information contains the same information as the patient summary, but in the meter package. Here we can see the patient demographics, the allergies, problems, again, the medications, the encounters, and any lab results will display here as well. The main difference between the patient snapshot and the patient summary is the ability to download this information by clicking the download link. It will be downloaded in an XML format, which you can save to your computer. You can upload this document to your EMR as long as your EMR vendor permits this. If you have any further questions regarding uploading XML documents to your EMR, please contact your vendor. We can also print this for the patient. This will print in a Adobe format or a PDF, and it will contain all the information that the patient will need regarding their medical history. We can also send this via direct to another provider. If we're referring this patient to a specialty practice, we can send that provider this document that contains the necessary patient information, clinical document, and we can send it immediately to the provider that we are referring this patient to by typing in the provider's address, the subject, a brief message, and then clicking Send via Direct. We can see here our document was sent successfully, and we can close out the Send to Direct option. Next, we have the incoming CCD. The incoming CCD shows all the encounters that the patient has had with a little bit more detail than what we saw in the patient summary or the patient snapshot. Simply click on the date of the encounter you wish to view. And here we can see we have a little bit more information. Not only do we have the patient demographics, but we have the insurer, language, race, marital status. Again, we have the problem list, medications, allergies, but we also have past medical history, procedures, immunizations, family history, social history, vital signs. We have the vital signs for that procedure, that encounter, plus any previous encounters that this patient has had. We also display any lab results, advanced directives, and the healthcare providers. This is a read-only document and cannot be downloaded or sent via direct. Now let's take a look at another patient with some lab results. We will conduct a patient search and simply hit enter. The patient's information will be displayed below. We can verify the patient we are looking for again by hovering over the patient name or simply looking at the date of birth. Select the patient. And since I do not have an established relationship with this patient, I must break the glass. First thing I will do is select the reason why I need to break this glass. And I'm going to say this is a new patient. Once I have an established relationship with this patient, I will no longer need to break the glass. Please keep in mind that anytime you do break the glass, the record will be audited. In order to break the privacy seal, simply click on Break Privacy Seal. Here we see we again have the patient demographics, but we just want to view the lab results. So simply click on Laboratory, the type of lab, and we can see the patient had a lipid profile. Click on the profile, and we can see that the patient had a lipid profile done on November 30th of 2012, March 30th, 2013, and July 30th, 2013. We can see the results and the reference ranges. We can also view this in a graph. Simply click on the box in the top left and select Graph. Here we can see the total graph for all the tests completed, and then broken down individually by cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL, total cholesterol, VLDL, and LDL. We can also print this for the patient and again send via direct to a referring provider. We also have the capability to send to your EMR, but again, it is up to your EMR vendor on how that information gets transcribed into your EMR. To exit, simply click on the X, and that takes you back to your main screen. You also have patient work lists. This is where you can group all your patients together in certain work lists, such as asthma, diabetes, hypertension, and emergency room visits. You can rename these work lists by simply clicking on the rename link. Type in the name that you want to use and hitting save. To add a patient to these work lists, you would conduct a patient search. Select the patient. Again, I do not have an established relationship with this patient, so I need to break the glass. And let's say I want to add this patient to my asthma work list. I simply click on the plus sign in the upper left next to the medical record number and select asthma. This patient will now show up in my asthma work list. If I wish to remove this patient from my work list, simply click on the box next to the patient and select remove. I also have my notifications page. My notification sets up the subscriptions that I want to receive. I can receive my notifications in a daily email, a daily summary, to my direct account or to my work email address. Please keep in mind that anything sent to an email address will not contain PHI, so they must be sent elsewhere, such as your direct account. All notifications are sent as they happen, except the daily summary, which is sent during the night. You can set up your delivery options if you want to be notified on all your patients that have final lab results, radiology results, microbiology results, inpatient admission, inpatient discharge, or patient admitted to the ER. Simply click the box next to the notifications you wish to receive and hit save. Next, we will take a look at the comment section. These are the details of your portal. It will contain your username, your start screen, which you can change from patient search to inpatient search, outpatient search, work list. You can change it to a specific work list, your restrictions, or your details. You can set your inactivity logout from 2 minutes to the maximum time, which is 30 minutes. In order to update your preferences or save your changes, hit update, and your changes will be saved. You can enter in your email address, add more information to your home page, view your direct email address, and your search ID type, which is going to be the facility that you are associated with. Finally, we have the Direct Secure Mail option. To access this, just simply click on Methods, Secure Mail, and that will take you to your direct email inbox. Your direct email works like any other email application. You can send new emails, get mail, reply to all, forward, delete, block spam, so forth. Here is an example of the direct email message I sent earlier, where I sent the CCD to a referring provider. I can simply click on the document and view the patient's clinical information. In order to send a new email, I can just click on New Email, and type in the recipient's address, the subject, and the message. I can also add an attachment, save the draft, and require a read receipt. When I'm ready to send the email, simply click on Send Email. To go back to your patient search, simply click on Patient Search, and that takes you back to your home screen. To log out, simply click Log Out. And now you have exited the North Carolina Health Information Exchange portal. This concludes our demonstration for the North Carolina Health Information Exchange portal. We hope you found this information useful. And if you have any questions, please contact our help desk for further information.